Hello everyone, and thanks for checking out what is my 100th video at the same time as gaining my 1000th subscriber. I am super grateful for all the support and interaction with the channel. Thank you all so much. For my 100th video, it was suggested to me that I do something a bit different, go behind the scenes a little and explain the setup, my soundproofing and recording equipment. So here goes. To start with, whilst I was recording this video, ironically, there is a drummer that lives 5 doors down from me, who was playing his drums at the time that I was making this video. So I stood out in the street and recorded outside my house how loud his drums were coming across. Now I know he plays in his bedroom. I've never met him, but I know he plays in his bedroom with the windows shut. So this was interesting because it now shows me what my drums would have sounded like had I not taken the measures that I'm about to show you. So this is my house, and as you can see, it's detached, which is the first major help in not annoying my neighbours. My main concern is this neighbour here and this one opposite. The sound is coming out from my garage here, which is where my drums are. So onto the soundproofing. The first thing to mention is I have absolutely no DIY abilities whatsoever. So let me apologise for some of the crude attempts you are about to see. Firstly, I got hold of some rock wool insulation. I wrapped it around the garage door using the door opening mechanism itself, along with some wooden batten I picked up just to try and keep it in place. I then cut some thinner strips of insulation and wedged it under, over and around the gap of the garage door itself. I then got some sheets of bubble wrap which helps with both heat and sound, and covered all of the insulation and the door, and then I used some masking tape to tape all the sheets together to keep it in place. When it came to the walls, I placed rock wool and Celotex boards on top of each other. Now these are not attached in any way to the wall itself, but just simply resting on top of one another. On the concrete floor of the garage, I placed 4 layers of acoustic carpet underlay on top of each other. Then for the drum pod itself, I had to build a small shed down the side of the house, so all the stuff from the garage had a place to go. As you may have or may not have seen from one of my earlier videos, the pod used to be upstairs in my spare bedroom. But the floor joists were starting to sag under the weight, which, by the way, should you ever look to be getting one of these vocal booths or drum booths, with all the gear myself and the pod itself, it came in at 1,200 kilograms, which is the weight of a small car. So in hindsight, I should have just put it in here from day one, but hey, you live and learn. The pod arrived flat packed. It took me and 2 other guys to lift each panel into the house. Each panel is roughly 5 inches thick, and the windows are triple glazed. Finally, from a soundproofing perspective, I then placed an acoustic curtain going all the way around the outside of the pod, which I simply attached to the ceiling with raw plugs and hooks. This offers a further, on average, 5 to 8 decibel reduction in sound coming out. These measures collectively, with the external house walls themselves, have given me roughly a 95% soundproofing result. I can play drums at 1 o'clock in the morning if I wish, and nobody inside or outside of the house can hear anything. Now the pod itself cost me £10,000. It's completely customizable to your own requirements. I appreciate, this was a lot of money for me, but I figured as an investment, I used this drum pod probably 300 days of the year. So I figured that over the next 25 years, it was certainly a justifiable expense. However, now would be a good time to mention that I have a loving, supportive, and very understanding wife. Got that in. The power inlet inside the pod is quite nicely designed to prevent the sound from escaping. There is also an option to add air conditioning, should your budget allow it. It does get pretty hot in here in the summer months. I mean, I'm in the UK, but the last few years, we are seeing hotter weather. So once it gets over 30 degrees, it can get pretty toasty in here. I've stuck acoustic foam pads on the walls and the ceiling to try and help dampen the sound. One of the difficulties I've had with recording is the sound bounces around like craziness in this room, giving quite annoying echo and vibrations, etc. The pod comes with a mains light, but for the videos I find it very bright. So instead I just use a little side lamp, as you can see behind me. I use little garden lamps going around the ceiling and a little ring light for when I do a vocal video, which is what I'm using now. I have a smart TV on the wall, which enables me to watch YouTube videos, which is great. If I'm trying to learn something from another channel, I can watch and play at the same time. For visuals, I use an iPhone 13 and 2 iPhone 7s, which I attach to these phone mounting brackets. The 13 is okay, but the 7s are not great. You can probably see it in my videos. The lighting isn't as good. So upgrading the cameras is next on the list once the budget allows. Moving on to the kit itself, I have a Yamaha Recording Custom 1980s in cherry red. This was inspired by Dave Reckl's Back to Basic DVD back in the 90s. I use a Black Beauty snare drum, and the cymbals are Zildjian K Special Dries. Microphones, I use the Audix DP7s. I've done a review on these. If you're interested, click on the link above. You can see the review. These go into a Sapphire Pro 40 interface, which is connected to my Mac. Pro Logic for the audio and Final Cut Pro for my videos, all of which I have extremely limited knowledge of, but this again is something that I would also like to improve upon in the coming months and years. So my goals moving forward are to keep practicing and improving, getting up to an intermediate drummer, learn to record acoustic drums to try and achieve that holy grail drum sound that I want, and to invest in a couple of decent-ish cameras just to improve the visual quality of what I'm doing. To top it off, if I can gain a small consistent growth on my channel, that would be the icing on the cake. So thanks for all the support, guys and girls. I appreciate every like, every comment, every subscriber. Thank you so much. Keep playing drums, and here is to the next 100 videos. Thanks for watching.